I want to share with you 3 secrets to mastering your relationship with food so that you never binge again. And these, by the way, are probably the things that you have not heard about. That's why I'm calling them secrets. They're not just letting go of restrictive dieting. They're not eating whole nutritious meals all day. They're not healing some sort of emotional trauma or deep issue going on. They're nothing like any of that. They're actually probably things you haven't heard about. I think the problem is most people, when they're trying to stop binge eating, and this was me for very long, is we try to focus on what we're doing instead of how. Try to focus on like what we're eating, what we're not eating, instead of like how we're actually thinking about food. And the key to actually overcoming your struggles with food forever, not just temporarily, and managing it, is that you have to not only change what you're doing, but how you think about it and transform actually who you are being. Okay, so that's what these 3 secrets are about. So secret number 1 is you want to master the art of critical thinking. Okay, so when it comes to food and exercise, now by critical thinking, I just mean thinking for yourself. Okay, so many of us, and I did this myself too for so long, is we keep looking outside of ourselves for different diets, programs to follow, and we follow them without really actually thinking about whether it's really working for us. And so over time, over many years, we accumulate a bunch of rules about how we should eat and how health should look that all start contradicting each other. They get confusing and overwhelming, and they really don't serve us anymore. I'll give you a couple examples here. So a lot of people will think, oh, I shouldn't eat past 8 p.m., for example, or I should always try to eat low calorie foods, like low fat. I should try to avoid anything with lots of fat. Okay, I should always try to eat less, and that's always going to be healthier. They think, oh, I should work out really, really hard in the gym because that's going to burn a lot of calories and get me to where I want to be. But these are all ideas. These are all like thoughts that you've accumulated that really maybe they aren't necessarily true. And how you find that out is actually by experimenting and seeing how it works for you. And if you've been following some of these rules for years and you haven't gotten the results that you want, then they aren't working for you. Okay, so that is secret number 1. Secret number 2 is mastering your integrity. Okay, so by that I mean you master the art of following through on your word so that you trust your word. So you don't just say, I'm going to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. when you haven't been doing that, and I'm going to start working out at 5 a.m. every single day. If you haven't been working out at all, and you know that's not likely to happen, and if you don't have anything new to set yourself up for successfully following through on that, well, then you're just lying to yourself. And the more that you don't follow through on what you say, the more you'll actually degrade your trust in yourself. And the more you'll start to feel like, oh, you know what, I just don't follow through. I'm not consistent. I can't do this. It will just completely destroy your self-esteem. And so, on the contrary, if you start actually focusing on, okay, I'm going to follow through on all my promises, and that might mean that I make fewer promises, that I cut down my list of things to do, or especially new things and new habits, and I start with like 1. Like, I'm going to prepare 1 meal this week at home, and I'm going to master that, and I'm going to follow through, and I'm going to build my integrity and trust in myself. If you do that over and over and over, you are going to be so confident in yourself. You are going to know yourself as someone who always follows through on their word. And just imagine what would happen in your life if you knew that every time you said you were going to do something, you actually did it. Awesome, right? Okay, here is secret number 3. Secret number 3 is you want to actually get someone else and I don't just mean anybody, someone else who actually knows how to have a healthy relationship with food, who can actually give you really useful advice. So like a coach or a therapist who has been through struggling with food and overcome it. Okay, you want to get someone else to look at what you're doing and tear it apart. So you can think of this sort of like having an editor for your writing. Okay, you can be writing something, but if your writing isn't attracting the right people, if it isn't coming across in the way you want it to for others, then there's something off in it. And sometimes it's really hard for us to see what we're doing that's not working. And we can get so stuck in just doing the same thing over and over again that we really get nowhere. So it's so important to have someone look at what you're doing, look at how you're eating, look at how you're managing your time, how you're managing your life, look at how you're exercising, and really give you some honest feedback about what they would suggest to change. Because again, like I said, if what you're doing hasn't been working, I don't care how good the plan feels in theory. If you've been trying it for, gosh, at least 3 months and it hasn't been getting you the result that you want, if you're still stuck struggling with food, if you're still self-sabotaging, if you're still feeling dread about going to the gym, like it's not working and it won't work. And by the way, I'm talking about this from personal experience too. Personally, I had someone actually tear apart what I was doing. And I was a personal trainer. I was well versed in how to eat nutritiously, but she pointed out some things that later I was like, wow, why is that not obvious to me? And she pointed out some things that I needed to change that ended up making a huge difference. Okay, so little recap here, the 3 secrets to mastering your relationship with food so that you never binge again are: number 1, master critical thinking. Think for yourself. Don't just follow plans, like actually figure out what's true and what's not for you. Number 2, master your integrity. Build your trust in yourself. Do not just throw out promises you will not keep. Number 3, get someone else to tear what you're doing apart and give you some honest feedback. So I know that some of these things are scary, but honestly, when I work with my clients and actually help them build these 3 things, gosh, they go from being out of control, binge eating, overeating, emotional eating, sometimes every day, sometimes several times a week, feeling like they have no confidence in themselves to follow through, to getting to a place where they are regularly meal prepping, they're regularly eating healthy, they're regularly exercising without it being a chore, with ease, naturally, and it's just a part of their life. And it lasts after we stop working together. So all that said, if you are feeling like this is great, but you want to learn more about how to actually do this, or you want help actually putting it together so that you can get to the goals you have in your health and fitness way faster, because by the way, my clients, they stop binge eating in a matter of a couple of weeks, and then they start achieving their greater health and fitness goals in a couple of more weeks. Like, it happens really pretty fast when they have guidance, a proven process, and a support system. So if you would like that, or if you would like to know more about it, just put a message at the bottom of this video and say me, or shoot me a message, and I'd be happy to see if we would be a good fit to work together and help you achieve your goals. Thanks so much for watching.